Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to look at articles. We use articles to show if a noun is specific or if a noun is not specific. There are only three articles in English grammar: a, an and the. There are two types of articles: indefinite articles and definite articles. You also need to know when not to use an article. Let's start by looking at indefinite articles. The indefinite articles are a and an. We use the indefinite article a and an in a number of situations. First, we use a and an to refer to a noun that is not something or someone specific, such as a computer, a station, or an envelope. Generally, we use the article a when the noun we are referring to begins with a consonant, and we use an for nouns that begin with the vowels a, e, I, o, u. Next, we use a and an when we talk about a job or profession. For example, George is an English professor. She is a doctor. When we want to indicate the nationality of a person, we use a or an before the noun. For example, I am Malaysian. Yati is an Indonesian. We also use indefinite articles a and an before phrases of time and measurement. For example, we go there once a year. It takes us an hour to get home. The beans cost 3 ringgit a kilogram. Next, let's look at definite articles the. We use the when we know that the listener knows or can work out who or what we are talking about. For example, the man over there is our new teacher. Did you lock the car? We also use the when we refer to something that has been mentioned earlier. For example, Mrs. Lee has a son and a daughter. The son is 10 and the daughter is 15. Another instance where we use the is when we talk about geographical points on the globe. For example, the North Pole and the equator. We can also use the before certain nouns when we know there is only one of a particular thing. For example, the sun, the world, and the parliament. One interesting point to know is that articles have direct relation with countable and uncountable nouns. First, let's look at countable nouns. Countable nouns are things that can be counted, such as books, students, pencils, chairs. When we make a sentence with a singular countable noun, we use the article a or an before the noun. For countable nouns that begin with a consonant, we use the article a before the noun. For example, I'm reading a book on plants. The singular noun book is countable, so we use a before the noun book. Here's another example of when we use the article a. I'm using a pen to write my essay. Again, pen is a countable noun, and since the word begins with a consonant, we use the article a before pen. We use the article an for singular countable nouns that start with a vowel. Let's take the word animal. I know it's an animal, but I'm not sure what it is. Since animal is a countable noun that starts with a vowel, we use the article an before it. Another countable noun that starts with a vowel is umbrella. I bought an umbrella because it rained. Since the word umbrella is countable and starts with a vowel, we use an. Let's look at some exceptions to this rule. If the word begins with a vowel that is pronounced with a consonant sound, then we use the article a. Let's look at the word university. We say a university, not an university. The word university begins with a U, but is pronounced with a Y sound at the beginning. Other examples are a user, a unicorn, and a ukulele. Likewise, if a word begins with a consonant but is pronounced with a vowel sound, then we use an. Let's look at the word honour. We say an honour, not a honour. The H in honour is silent. Other examples are an hour and an honest man. Let's look at plural countable nouns. When a countable noun is plural, we do not need to use an article. For example, Raju likes pineapples. Cars are expensive. These are general statements. However, if we add the article the before the noun cars, then we are referring to a few specific cars and not cars in general. Let's look at the word some. Some is similar to an article. We can use the word some with plural countable nouns. Look at these examples. I've read some good reports about him. Would you like to have some grapes? The word some here is equivalent to a number of. Remember that we don't use some when speaking about things in general. Now, let's look at uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are things that cannot be counted. We do not put any articles before uncountable nouns. Some of the examples of uncountable nouns are sugar, rice, salt, and flour. Let's look at these sentences. Do you take sugar in your tea? I'd like to eat rice today. We do not use any article before the uncountable nouns, sugar and rice, as both items cannot be counted. Let's look at a common mistake we make in English. Don't say, I need to get an uniform. Say, I need to get a uniform. Don't say, I play the football. Say, I play football. That's all for now. Bye.